Editing your favorites in the Brisk menu. The Brisk menu is the default menu system that comes with the Mate desktop on the latest version of Ubuntu that I installed here, which is 2404. And I like the menu system. It's nice, it's very functional, but they kind of left out the ability to reorder the items in favorites, right? So I'll show you how I reorder the items in the favorites menu of the Brisk menu. You're going to want to be able to use the dconfig editor. So the first thing you're going to want to do is install the dconfig editor. Here's your line right here that you will use to install the dconfig editor. All right, the other thing that's going to make it a lot easier to manipulate the data, the menu items in that list, is using the Genie editor. And we're going to be using the Genie editor in this exercise. So if you don't have it installed, install it, and then install all the plugins that are associated with it. You're going to want them, okay? It just makes the whole process a lot easier. Okay, so install those two things, and then what we want to do is we want to bring up our dconfig editor, and then we want to bring up Genie. Okay, so I'm going to load my dconfig editor. I'm going to hit Alt F2 here to enter in my command without having to bring up a terminal. Dconfig editor, run it. Okay, so it tells you to be careful. You don't want to screw anything up in here. All right, and so the tree in which holds the configuration for the menu. Okay, so you're going to navigate to COM, and then you're going to navigate to Solus-project, and then you're going to navigate to Brisk menu, and then you're going to navigate to favorites. Okay, that's where this data is going to be. The custom value listed down here, if you look at it, you'll see it's exactly what the current value is. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to copy all of this. This is our favorites menu, so I'm going to Control A to highlight everything. I'm going to Control C to copy everything, and then I'm going to load Genie editor. All right, and then I'm going to paste it in here. And you always want to save your original data before you manipulate it, right? Just in case you need to get it back. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to go to my tutorial folder here for the Brisk menu. I'm going to go to Docs, and I'm going to say Brisk menu, and I'm going to save it as a text file. Brisk menu, faves for favorites, and I'm going to put original. I'll just put backup. I'll put backup, and I'm going to put the date, which is today is 08/22/25, and I'm going to put A. I'm going to save that as a text file. So this will tell me this is my original data. Okay, so I'm going to save that. All right, so here's one of the things that's really cool about Genie, and we need to remove our brackets. Okay, we're not going to need our brackets right now, and it'll make it easier if we for us if we remove our brackets. Okay. All right. So, and then you'll notice that after each field, the field separator is a comma and a space. Okay. So what we want to do on this last field here is we want to add a comma and we want to add a space. All right, and then now that we've got our data set up the way we want it before we manipulate it, and there's a reason I'm doing this, we want to go into search, and we're going to go into replace. And one of the things you want to do is make sure that you have regular expressions checked in Genie for your search and replace. So what we're going to do is convert this from one long string of data to a single column of data. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to reorder these things if we have it in a column format. So I'm going to say I want to search for comma and space, and then I want to convert that to a comma, a space, and then the escape sequence for a line feed is going to be the backslash character and then an N. So I want to replace the comma space with a comma space and then a new line character, a line feed, a line character. So, all right, so I'm going to say in the document. I've got it set to replace all. I'm going to say in the document. Okay, so now, as you can see, we've got everything in a column format. All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to mess up the original data, so I'm going to save this as a new file, right? We backed up our data. Now I'm going to save this as my mod file for modified 082225A. Brisk menu faves. Okay, so I'm going to save that before I do anything else. All right, so, and if we look at the menu here for my favorites, I've got Chrome, browser, which is my primary browser, Thunderbird, which is my messaging application, the file manager, Kaja, and then I've got a terminal because I work in a terminal very frequently. So I basically want things ordered, and I put in the order in which I use them the most. So the most used item, the web browser, is going to be at the top, and then the messaging and so on. All right, and I've got Genie here, and then I've got my alarm, my screenshot, my backgrounds, GIMP and Inkscape. Yeah, I use those a lot. But there's a couple other items that I want to move up the chain here. Let me see. I really don't think I need Pluma. I've got Genie. Pluma is just a real basic text editor compared to Genie, and I like using Genie because it's so powerful. So I don't need two text editors. I'm going to remove Pluma. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to move KDE and Live, HandBrake, and Audacity, which are three applications that I'm in constantly. And I want to, well, and Audacity too. KDE and Live, HandBrake, Audacity. Yeah, those three. And a simple screen recorder. I'm using it right now to make this video. So I want to take those four items and I want to move them up right below Inkscape, so that, you know, that's my next set of applications that I use the most. So let's go here. Let's go to where we want to insert, right? So, and that's going to be right after Inkscape here. So I'm going to push that down a little bit. And then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab KDE Live, right? HandBrake, Audacity. So I want those, and then I'm going to cut those and bring those up and drop those right here. And then I'm going to go down. I'm also going to grab screen recorder, simple screen recorder, because I use it constantly for all my, you know, tutorials and videos and stuff. All right, so now I'm going to bring everything back up. So I've got everything here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove those last two lines. All right, so I've got everything set the way that I had it in a column format. There's no gaps. So I've got everything nice and tight here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. This is my mods now. This is my mods text file. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to convert this from the column format here back to the single row like it was before, because that's the way we need to copy it back. So we're going to do the opposite of what we did before. Okay, so now we're going to go into search. We're going to go into replace, and then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to copy this. I want to search for comma space new line character, and I just want to put it back to just comma and space. And because it's columnar now, because we have 37 lines here, right, of data, we need to search through and perform this on a multi-line match. Okay, so now I'm going to say in document, and then there we go. Okay, so I have brought it back up to a single line, but remember we added a comma on the very last one, right? So we don't need this comma here anymore, and we need to add our closing bracket, and then we need to add our beginning bracket again. Unless you just want to, unless you are able to copy it and paste it between the brackets, I just copy the entire thing and then paste it back the same way. Okay, so this is our modified. This is our modified data, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that, and then this is the way we're going to copy it back. So I'm going to select it all. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back into the deconfig editor, I'm going to go here with the data, where the data is before we modified it. I'm going to select it all, and then I'm going to Control V. I'm going to paste over the top of it. Okay. So now I'm going to apply that. So now our new data is loaded into Deconfig Editor. Okay. So now how do we get it to be applied to our menu system? Well, you can either log out and log back in so the menu system loads again, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and let me see, right here where it says type mate panel -- replace and exit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this text here, this command here. I'm going to minimize this stuff. I'm going to hit Alt F2 again. I'm going to enter in my command here. Now this will reload the panel, so the panel will disappear and then it will reload again with our new data, okay, that we just saved in Deconfig. Alright, now if we go in, we see that I have right below Inkscape, I now have Kdenlive, I have HandBrake, I have Audacity, and I have my simple screen recorder. So the 4 items that I wanted moved up in a different order in my favorites menu is now there. So there's some steps to it, and you need to be careful when you're doing it, but it's pretty simple and it's pretty straightforward. All right, so now that I've got that, I've got everything saved, I can go ahead and close out my text editor. I can go ahead and close out my text file here for my Brisk menu, and we've already closed the Deconfig editor. So that is how you rearrange items in the Brisk menu for your favorites, for your favorite menu. Reorder them however you want them. You can do it with a text editor. Simple enough, right? Hopefully in the future they will have that built into the menu system itself, where you can just grab something and drag it up, and change the order. So hopefully they'll institute a drag and drop in their favorites menu here in the future. Maybe in the not so distant future. Fingers crossed. Anyway, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.